absolutely massive. I love this step up thing because I just get up here, right? And then you just duck in. Such an easy entrance. All right, so the minor changes I made since the first time I drove this car. I turned off the heads-up display because I personally found it annoying. And turns out this car came with overinflated tires, right? Because on the dorsal it says they're supposed to be 35 psi, and they were right around 40 psi on all corners. And so using the built-in air compressor in the back of this car, I turned down all the pressures to 35, and so now it drives a lot better than it came from the dealership. And that's about it. I've just been trying to break this car in. I've done about 150 miles so far, and we're gonna need to do like 600 before I take this up on a road trip to San Francisco. So exciting things coming. I really like the cameras, but at the same time, I noticed that... Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't think I really trust cameras all that much. Now that I've been living with this car for about a week, I have to say, I really like this car. I think I've gotten like sports car fatigue over the years of just driving around in an E46 coupe and a Porsche Cayman. Granted, my E46 isn't even a sports car, right? But it's just because I've been driving around in lower cars with less space inside, and now that I see it, not the best visibility either. It's just getting into this car is a real big breath of fresh air. Like driving around in those cars, if there's a big SUV like that in front of you, you can't see that far in front of you. And even when I'm just checking around my shoulder and everything, it's like other cars kind of block the visibility of my surroundings. And so my perception of the world just feels a little bit tighter because my visibility radius isn't that great. And the thing I love about this car, and I guess this applies to all SUVs, but like you gotta realize that that's a, what is that? That's a Q5. And the roof of the Q5 was at my eye level, okay? This car is a very high car. And so when I'm driving around in this car, I can see for miles down the road, just front, backwards, all around me. It just feels like the world is so much more spacious. And I love it, you know? Like I can be stuck in traffic in this car and it just doesn't feel as claustrophobic. Yeah, see? Like even right now, with this visibility, with all these cars, I can see all the cars trying to make a left turn there and the car waiting to go straight on the other lane. Like there's just so much visibility that I just don't feel as cramped inside the world. You know, it's like living in a high-rise building. You just feel... What? Okay, I still hate the technology. But the thing about being this high up on the road is you get this weird sense of superiority. It's just kind of like being taller than everyone else. Because this car doesn't want to be driven fast, I'm just never in a rush. I don't care what else is going on in the road. I literally feel above it all. And because of that, it's just so relaxing to drive. Wow. Maserati MC20. I think that's my second time seeing that car. Even my E46, that's not an M3, and that Porsche that we had. When you're in those cars, it just feels like the car wants to be pushed a little bit. You know, like that's the characteristic that those engines have. And because of that, when you're driving on the street like this, leisurely, it just feels like you're doing something wrong, and you almost feel the need to pick up the pace a little bit. Because driving is a conversation between you and the car, right? The vehicle has its own personality and a way that it wants to be driven. And you have to be able to kind of match that, or you're just not going to have a good experience. And I think that's one of the things that I really enjoy about driving, right? Like I said, it's not necessarily about driving the best dynamic car. It's just these experiences of just getting to know different cars and their personalities and finding how to have a good conversation with those personalities, right? Maybe it sounds weird to some of you guys, but I think that's what driving is all about. Because this car's personality is just never in a rush and it's just trying to go at its own pace. When I drive this thing, I just feel more at peace on the road. You know, it's like I'm just driving at my own pace, or this car's pace, with great visibility. Now this thing looks like an animal, and I would love to try driving it. And if we're talking more about the personality of this car, right? This car still isn't the easiest car to drive smoothly. This is, I think, the first four-wheel drive car I've driven, and like it's got off-road suspension, and so it's really easy to upset the balance of the suspension. And so if you want to have a smooth riding experience for yourself and whoever you have in the car, the technique required to drive this car smoothly is different from other sedans or SUVs or sports cars I've driven in the past. You know what I mean? It's just, you have to approach corners differently. You have to modulate your right foot just a little bit differently. And so when I am trying to drive as smoothly as possible, which is most of the time, it's still a pretty entertaining car to drive. We're gonna make a rally wheels on a freaking Tesla Model Y with Mario Kart decals. Crazy. The funny thing is, I get car sick really easily, right? Like, I even get car sick from my driving sometimes. So I really didn't think I would like the bouncy off-road feel of the suspension. However, oh, GT3 Touring. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Oh, that sounds so good. Anyways, as I was saying, I really didn't think I would like the crazy rebounding that this car has. But now that I've been living with it for a week, I'm realizing that that's actually what makes this car feel special. Like, when I get in this car and I'm driving around in straight roads, I don't feel posh, despite the high ride height and the visibility and maybe even this badge. I feel adventurous. I think that's the only way to put it. You get this feeling of Indiana Jones. You know, like, I never thought of myself as an outdoors guy, but now that I've been living with this car, I'm starting to feel like I could do that. And maybe I should. And it's just bringing a new layer of excitement into my life just from my imagination. And so what I've taken away from this week of driving this car is, it hasn't taken away my love for performance / sporty cars, but it just revived my passion for cars. You know, I think I was getting slightly bored from driving uncomfortable coupes all the time, and this is a completely different vibe. You know, like, you're sitting so much more upright. I'm not like crunched up in my car all the time now. Just an FYI, like I said before, this is not my car. This is technically my sister's car, but also just like a family car, right? But I'm the only person that's driven it so far, because my sister's on a business trip right now and my mother is in Korea. And I've gotta say, I hope she never comes back. All right, just got some groceries. Yeah, so cameras are nice. Wait, why is he... Oh my god. Okay, you wow. You're crazy. Okay. Yeah, so I forgot to mention, I've been driving around in normal mode this entire time, and if you have passengers that tend to get motion sick really easily, what you can do is drive around in sport mode. When you get into sport mode, basically what happens is the suspension gets a little bit more firmer and it holds the gears a little bit longer before switching into the next gear, right? And so there's just a lot less turbulence to upset the ride while you are driving around. Yeah, but the thing about sport mode is the car just starts riding like a Honda Civic. in terms of the suspension, and so it's just not the best feeling thing, in my opinion. You know, I think I'd rather just bob up and down and feel adventurous. But yeah, I think that kind of covers everything I wanted to go over in this video. It's just, I'm really falling in love with this car, and I hope my sister never comes back.